Ahoy, hoy, I'm Pavo.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to That's No Moon.
It's a podcast.
It's your weekly digest of everything you need to know in the world of Star Wars, and it's episode number
37.
37. Well, it's the hottest day in the UK for 37 years. 40 years.
40 years.
So what better way to celebrate that than to be stuck in a 5-foot square shed with only a tiny little window and a silly little fan to keep the air breathing. Now,
we'll be this big once we start.
Yes.
We'll be this big when we finish.
Wouldn't that be lovely if that was the case? Well,
also, it's the longest day.
It's the longest day, and also in the world of Star Wars, it is a tumultuous big day. Now, we had the show notes for this episode sorted,
and they'd also said when I first filled those show notes out up till yesterday that it was a quiet week. They even wrote on their own website, it's a quiet week for Star Wars.
Let me just turn it down a touch. It was a quiet week. There was just little bits. There was stuff about Battlefield. Battlefield. Is it Battlefield? Battlefront 2. There was a bit about the... I wanted to bring up from a couple of weeks ago that the release date had changed to the UK. We're getting it a day earlier. But then that has happened every year so far. Obviously, the autopsy and the inquest in regards to Carrie Fisher's death, we had some information about how she died. So that wasn't particularly nice stuff to have talked about. But then we wake up this morning and as I do, one of the first things I do when I wake up is I always check. I've got 3 or 4 different movie websites that I always check every morning. And it was the bombshell news that Chris Miller and Phil Lord not only have left the Han Solo movie, they've been fired from the Han Solo movie. So,
which is shocking, really.
Shocking is, well, I'll go through my feelings in a minute, but these are the two quotes or statements, if you like, that was put on StarWars.com this morning. So
these are the official ones,
from Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. She said, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers who have assembled an incredible cast and crew, but it's become clear that we had different creative visions on this film, and we've decided to part ways. A new director will be announced soon. So that was from Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. And then on StarWars.com, right underneath that statement is a statement that follows. Unfortunately, our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on this project. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliche is true. We are really proud of the amazing and world-class work of our cast and crew, stated Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. So that's the official... it's almost like when people break up, when they divorce and say we're still going to be friends.
It's like those music of the bands.
It is, isn't it? But now I've done a little bit of digging in regards to, I mean, again, it's all people making their own minds up and information that they may have or may not have. But the fact that a lot of the headlines on different movie websites have said that they were fired. It wasn't creative differences and sort of a la Ant-Man and Edgar Wright, where maybe
they had
the project,
a different vision,
So, but a lot of people have been saying that they had problems working with Lawrence Kasdan, or Lawrence Kasdan had problems working with them. Now, if anybody knows the character of Han Solo more, it's Lawrence Kasdan, because he's always said that that's his favourite character he's ever written. To be perfectly honest, this is the very first time in my, however many years it is, 40 years of being in love with Star Wars, that I'm genuinely worried for a project.
Oh, right. You think this could be...
As in, that this project... I mean, I'm hoping the same with Ant-Man, as everyone said, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And then Ant-Man turned out to be a really, really good movie. It's just, they've got, I think, 3 weeks of shooting left.
Yeah.
You know, so they've been filming since January.
And the locations they've already filmed at, are they going to be able to use again?
So how it's taken them 6 months to realise that they're not on the same page?
Could it not be that they've gone into the editing process? Obviously, directors are involved with that because of their vision, aren't they? And the way they've wanted to edit. And we have to remember that Lord and Miller love a comedy more than anything, don't they? They love their comedy. If you think 21 Jump Street and stuff like that, even the Lego movie, it's very, very funny. And maybe they tried to make it too comedic.
But then wouldn't that would have been in the script, surely?
But Lawrence,
That sort of
yeah, but they might have tried to put their touch on it, would they not?
But then again, wouldn't that have been in the script? It's not like you would have thought that they would have had input into the script to start with as well. It isn't just going to be written. I don't think it was just written by Lawrence Kasdan.
Or maybe they. I think it was, wasn't it? I thought it was him and his son.
Oh, maybe, but you would think things like that and working out what the tone of the movie was going to be.
The way they've tried to edit it and force the edit is not the way that the Star Wars conglomerate, you know, the big machine of Star Wars, not just Kathleen Kennedy, wanted.
But I would think that I may be completely wrong. But
don't forget, they film hours and hours and hours of material and then edit out of that, don't they? And what Lord and Miller might have chosen would not have been suitable for what they had their vision to be.
It still seems drastic that with like 3 weeks of shooting left,
that's 3 weeks of shooting, not just editing, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but so then are you saying
they edit on the fly? They don't edit.
No, well, do you know that for a fact?
The majority of times now on these big blockbusters, yeah, they edit as they go.
But it would seem to me a really weird. That it's almost like it's as drastic a step as you take that you fire the directors where you've been filming for 6 months, and like even if they've been editing on the fly, so they are shaping the movie. I mean, allegedly, the same sort of thing happened with Rogue One.
Yeah.
So what they did is they did some drastic reshoots, still with Gareth Edwards. That Tony Gilroy came in, I think, and directed some of the reshoots. But Gareth Edwards was still involved.
Yeah.
He was still the director of the movie. So it's just a wonder what that is so drastic has happened. That means that they are kicked off.
They're never going to fully.
Well, no, they're not. It's going to be another Josh Trank thing or another Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is never going to admit.
Their names aren't going to be on the. Will they still appear on the credits?
This is the thing.
Because they've done the lion's share of the work, haven't they?
They've shot 6 months of this movie.
Yeah.
But going back to my point of that. Normally, I mean, like when people started having a go at like, oh, wow, look, Gareth Edwards has been kicked off the project and they're doing reshoots. That must mean the movie's in trouble. Well, no, because every major movie does reshoots. Yeah. They budget for reshoots and they know they're going to do reshoots. Obviously, the movie, as in the last act of the movie, looks like it was changed drastically.
Yeah.
Because there are parts in the trailers that weren't in the movie, and that's because they'd shot that, it didn't work. And I would rather them do that. I would rather them look at it and go, yeah, that doesn't work. We've got another X amount of millions to be able to, spend on reshoots. Let's go and do it and make it into the movie. It's worked for World War Z. Yeah. It worked for Rogue One. I mean, it'd be great to see what the actual finish would have been, what the original ending was, opposed to what the ending was. But I liked the ending of Rogue One. I thought it was emotional. I thought it was powerful. It gave you everything you wanted it to see. Seeing Darth Vader kick ass and all that kind of stuff. So that's my whole point. Is the fact that's why I'm worried. Is the fact that if it was the fact that the movie was maybe steering away from what the original vision was, you would think at the very start, if you had plain bits of paper and you had Lucasfilm's version of the Han Solo movie and Lord and Miller's version of and then they say, right, well, yeah, we're miles apart. We need to work a way of melding the two, or saying to them, well, this is what we want to do. And then at the start, them going, yeah, well, that isn't for us then. And then walking away, not filming 6 months of the movie.
And appearing twice at the Star Wars convention.
Exactly. And doing little movies for Omaze and stuff like that. That's the bit that gets me worried, is the fact that it really it doesn't add up to me. That you think something more has occurred? Yeah, they just see. I mean, it's going to be obvious that they're going to make statements like that because Lord and Miller don't want to close the door on ever being able to direct a Star Wars film. With the fact that they're going to be making more and more of these Star Wars films, or any. I mean, Lord and Miller could be fantastic to direct an Indiana Jones film in the future. Because
they don't actually say that they've been fired, have they?
They don't. But what I'm saying is that they're not, are they? They're not going to say that. Some of the websites that I've seen have said that there was a clashing of personalities and of heads between Lord and Miller and Lawrence Kasdan. So whether it is the fact that they, that they're not going to say that, but what I'm saying is that they don't. But what I'm saying is that some of the websites that I've seen have said that there was a clashing of personalities and of heads between Lord and Miller and Lawrence Kasdan. So whether it is the fact that they, that they're not, are they? They're not going to say that. didn't like something that he wrote, and he said, well, look, that is what Han Solo would do.
Yeah.
And they're going, well, no, he wouldn't do that. And he's going, well, no, I know, I am Han Solo.
Yeah.
I know what he would do.
Well, I don't want to say I created him, but he
did. I mean, he said that was the favorite character that he wrote for in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And
obviously.
And then when they came and asked him, you can tell just by the dialogue that he had in the Force Awakens. You could tell that that was the old Han Solo.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they needed for this movie, because the only way you're going to get anybody buying Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo is basically how he's going to act and the words that's going to
he needs to be like Harrison Ford as Han Solo, doesn't he?
You have to have Lawrence Kasdan there writing that dialogue for him. So I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, how do you feel?
Well, it makes me worried, and it always makes me worried when you hear stories like this. But again, because, not every Star Wars has had a straight run, have they? I mean, famously going back to like Empire Strikes Back famously went over budget, didn't it?
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's never always had a straight run as a Star Wars movie. Even like Force Awakens had its problems. So I have a little bit of faith in Lucasfilm. So far, they haven't ballsed it up, have they? They haven't done anything to make you worried.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why in 40 years of me loving Star Wars,
you're worried.
I genuinely, when I read that this morning, I thought to myself, oh my God, this could seriously be
a problem.
A problem.
Yeah.
Even with going through, like watching the prequels, and as the years the years was distanced between watching the prequels. When I first watched them, they were the best thing ever, because it was the only Star Wars that I thought we were ever going to get.
Again,
and as you watch them, you sort of think, yeah, that could have been better. That could have been better. I love the prequels, but you sort of you pick up the flaws.
Isn't there?
You pick up the flaws. So there were always parts of that, but it never once made me think, oh my God, Star Wars is in trouble. Whereas this really made me think this could be the first. And I actually thought today, while I was doing my normal work, I thought to myself, this flashed in my mind, I thought, what would I do if I walked out of a Star Wars film and it was like a Transformers movie? How would I really don't know. Would I be like Doubting Thomas? And if someone come up and said, what do you think of that? I go, oh, it was fab because it's a Star Wars film. Or would I genuinely say to somebody...
I think the disappointment in you, what I know about you wouldn't be able to hide.
I really don't know how I would feel.
It wouldn't turn you off of the Star Wars franchise,
no,
would it?
Because it wouldn't.
Let's be fair, we can't... It's not going to have a home run every time.
Even Pixar have had duds now, but...
and they've committed themselves to a movie a year, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they can't... That's not going to be sustainable. And even with Marvel, their duds came probably at the beginning, the Incredible Hulk and things like that. But they sort of hone their game, and they're at the top of their game. Star Wars has gone in with 2 films so far that have been very good.
I mean, look, would I prefer a standalone movie to suck and to fail as opposed to a saga movie? Yes, absolutely.
Because it is a standalone movie, and if it doesn't make the money...
And I think it's the standalone movies that I would like to see them try different genres and experiment and try different things. Sometimes those things won't work. Like the start of Rogue One, I didn't think worked.
Right.
Where you haven't got a crawl, where it just starts, and then when you saw the credit, hopefully sooner or later, when the weather's not so hot and we can sit in here for 2 hours, we'll do our Rogue One commentary, because we haven't done it yet. We've done the other 7 movies, we haven't done it yet. So we can go into it in some detail, but I have to say, I just was really, and I don't think of the last time I felt really, really negative about Star Wars.
It doesn't make you feel negative.
It made me feel, as in I don't know what they're going to do,
right?
Because it's not like the movie is coming out in less than a year.
Yeah. Okay, so they've got 3 weeks of principal photography. And they've got 3 weeks of principal photography. Now, I'm not saying that they can't, what they may have is fantastic. Everybody at Lucasfilm may now be going, now we can make the film that we know is going to work. Whereas, Miller and Lord and Miller may well have been Yeah.
big block in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
They wanted to do it their way instead of doing
Well,
it
that's what I said.
Lucasfilm's
They
way.
might have wanted to turn it in, and it wouldn't surprise me, is they might have wanted to turn it into more of an out-and-out comedy.
Yeah.
And I genuinely don't think... There's a place for humour and comedy, but an out-and-out comedy in a Star Wars universe? I don't think so. And that's what they're known for.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love The Force Awakens, is I thought they got the mixture of comedy and emotion perfectly. It was spot on.
And that's what you need, isn't it? Rogue One's more of a serious film.
You
It has comedic moments,
you could be absolutely right. You could be absolutely right that they were going to go for a balls-out...
comedy.
Buddy... Not cop, but a buddy movie comedy... set with Han Solo. You're absolutely right.
That's the thing. But what also frightens me, and I've just seen your piece of paper, and I was going to bring this up before, is I hope Lawrence Kasdan doesn't come in to direct it.
Well, he is one of the people that is...
no, I read earlier Ron Howard. I'd prefer Ron Howard.
Ron Howard was the original one that I saw that was being touted.
Lawrence Kasdan, to me, is not a great director.
Okay. I can't think of the last time he actually directed a movie.
Dreamcatcher. Do you remember that? With Thomas Jane, Morgan Freeman. It was based on Stephen King.
Okay. That was a while ago.
That was early 2000s, wasn't it?
Right. Silverado. He did Silverado.
Yeah.
But again, that's going back a long, long time.
That's 86, and even that.
I mean, look.
It's a good film. Dreamcatcher's not, but it's a good film, but it's not got anything amazing in its direction now. Lawrence Kasdan is a fantastic screenwriter, and that's where I think it should stay.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really awful. Grand Canyon, didn't he? He did that as well.
He did, yeah.
So any of those films, while they're all right, it's the script that is the selling point. The direction of the movie is very generic. There's nothing visually that you think, wow, okay, that's brilliant. And Dreamcatcher's awful. It's genuinely awful. It looks awful.
Right.
So,
well, I mean... Ron Howard is a good shout.
I think he'd be very
he's
good.
a good shout.
Because, all right, not all of his films are like the Da Vinci Codes are popular. They make a lot of money, but they're not anything great. But they're popcorn, and they look good. Anything Ron Howard directs looks brilliant.
I mean, it would have been nice that if it was just 3 weeks of photography and just tail end in the movie of his getting Spielberg.
Yeah,
but I know that he's busy. Shooting his
sci-fi.
No, it's not the sci-fi one that he's shooting at the moment. It's oh god, I can't. It's called The Papers, I think it's called.
Oh,
it's about Watergate and Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, and he's trying to get that rushed out so that it's in theaters for December. Yeah,
but he's also got that sci-fi. I mean, his plate's full, isn't it? Spielberg.
Or maybe George Lucas.
No.
No, don't mean to laugh, George, but I mean,
that's the one thing
it would have been. But he's not writing it, is he? He would just direct it.
But he's not even a director. I mean, like they said, his direction on stage is awful. Just like if you could just read this. Yeah. So what are we feeling,
Faster,
George?
more intense. I think was his thing. Yeah. Faster, more intense. That's an awful impersonation.
It sounds a bit like I'm trying to think. You sound like. But Ron Howard, I think, would be very good. But I've just noticed one on the bottom there. Joe Johnston.
He was another one that's been touted.
He's another great special effects director. He is.
Well, he's got a Star Wars link.
Pedigree, hasn't he?
Star Wars link. And I don't know whether many people... I mean, I think a lot of people like it, but I love The First Avenger.
Yeah.
Captain America, movie. First Avenger. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, and look how great he can do special effects, action... He did The Rocketeer as well, didn't he?
He did do The Rocketeer.
And I love The Rocketeer.
He did do The Rocketeer. I only saw that for the first time about 6 months ago.
Did you like it?
It's one of those movies, and there's a lot of movies, like Breakfast Club I only saw about 2-3 years ago. But I'd seen it, and then you realise are taken out of it.
Yeah.
And bits that you recognise that have become like sort of part of pop culture that you just take for granted. Or something that The Simpsons have done a pastiche on.
Yeah.
And then I watched The Rocketeer and I thought, my God, that reminded me so much of things like Indiana Jones. And it was all in that same sort of vein.
It's just great fun.
And I didn't realise that the guy that played The Rocketeer is the guy who is in the Ricky Gervais film Ghost Town.
That's it, Campbell. What's his name?
Yeah, it's not Bruce Campbell, is it?
It's Bill.
Bill Campbell, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Rocketeer's a great film, but he's, I think he'd be awesome at it, actually. I really do.
Yeah, so I mean, if you could choose one person to take
Ron
over.
Howard, I think, is the sort of bloke that could use what you've got and turn into, he could make something of what's already there. He's got that sort of vision. I think so.
Yeah. Oh, Jurassic Park 3 as well.
Yeah, of course, which is probably the weaker of the Jurassic Park.
I think it is. But he's used to doing those big movies. I mean, Ron Howard's done some of the biggest movies.
Didn't Joe Johnston also do Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Or was that...
That wasn't him, was
Stuart
it?
Gordon.
Stuart Gordon?
Yeah.
Let me have a look. You keep.
Yeah, so Ron Howard, to me, if you think what he... I know it's a long time ago, but with the Beatles, where he took the...
yes, he did.
He took the... like the documentary of the Beatles, all that footage, and made it something really his own and personal.
Yeah.
I know it's a different sort of thing, but I think he's got the vision and the capabilities to use what Lord and Miller have already done, and turn it into something new.
Let's hope.
It's just a strange times, and I personally am not quite as negative as you are at the moment. I'm just thinking, sooner rather than later, they need to move on from this and announce the director, a bit like they did on Ant-Man.
I mean, they did say, we've just a new director will be announced soon. I mean, whether they'll wait till D23 or Comic-Con.
They need to do it before then. If they've got 3 weeks, they need to announce it.
Well,
and get on with it.
It would already be done by then, wouldn't it? Yeah. So.
And people were saying that Han Solo was going to be the D23 thing. So if he's taken over, it'd be a great time to bring him out then, wouldn't it? The new director of Han Solo. Yeah. Bring out if he could edit a trailer ready for that.
It's intriguing. They do say that there'll be a new episode 8 trailer dropping.
Well, it's already
soon,
BBFC. I've got it on there.
Yeah.
2 minutes and something.
Yeah. So there you
That'll
go.
be July.
There you go. So it's. I'm sorry that we've gone just on one category, but it was it's one of the biggest bits of news this year for Star Wars.
Well, absolutely, especially for one of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But like you say, at least it's on a standalone movie.
Yeah.
The worry would be that when they're on one of the saga movies and that happens, then I think I'd be a bit more worried.
Yeah.
I genuinely would.
There were talks on a couple of podcasts I've listened to this week that because the new Colin Trevorrow movie, that Book of Henry, hasn't done very well, that RE8 should be taken off the Star Wars movie.
But it's because it's a departure.
But I just couldn't understand why. Okay, so the movie hasn't made 50 million at the box office, which it was never going to do anyway. No. All of a sudden now, you got to take him off of Star Wars. Well,
why?
He's been working on Star Wars probably for the last year or so anyway.
Yeah. He's made one of the most successful films of all time.
I didn't understand that. I really didn't understand that he has one little blip.
Did they say the same when Richard Marquand was announced to direct?
Probably, but there wasn't an internet then, so we wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. So
absolutely. Well, what do you think of Lord and Miller leaving? Do you think it's a good thing? I mean, you might be out there and think, actually, let's get rid of these boys and get somebody new.
Are you talking about us?
No.
Getting rid of it? Oh, right, okay.
Or do you think it's a bad thing and we need to sort this out urgently? And who would you like to direct? Please do let us know in the comments below. And when you do comment, do remember to like the video, please. And
also come and subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, then you just press the little noggin thing that's up there now or a little bit later on, whenever it's there, I don't know. And when you do subscribe, also click on the little bell icon. That means you'll be notified every time we release a brand new video.
Yes.
That's it.
It is.
So that's episode 37.
In a very hot and sweaty studio.
Indeed. We haven't had time for any questions, so we'll do them next week as well. If you've got any questions, maybe leave them in the comments box as well. But that's it. So...
It's a big pause.
I think it's the heat. It's got to move.
I'm absolutely melting.
I don't think you realise quite how hot it is in here. We've got one tiny little fan and a little window that's open. But there you go. We do this for our art. We do this because we love you and because we want to give you the best Star Wars news ever.
Absolutely.
So, that's it. Thank you very much. I'm Pablo.
And I'm Neil.
And may the Force be with you
always.